Hello friends, my name is Linda Dalke and I am a demonstrator from Australia, and today I am showing a little bit of technique. Now I did do a Facebook Live where I showed how to get this Sunray technique just a few days ago, last week actually, and I did a couple of cards on that video. There's another one there, you can see same effect. However, what I wanted to show you was this card from start to finish for anyone who hasn't seen that video, and also show you how I got these cute little starburst bits behind my sun here. So let's get started. This is a really easy card. You're just going to need a few basic pieces. You'll need obviously a white card base or whatever color card base you're using. So I'm just folding half a sheet of paper. Now in my case I'm using A4 paper because I'm in Australia, and in Europe I believe they do as well, but in the US they use letter sized paper, which is a little different, but you'll just cut it in half and then fold it in half again to get your basic card base. No matter where you are in the world, that bit is the same. Alright, then I have a piece. This is Bumblebee cardstock, and I've cut this so it's just slightly smaller. In my case, half a centimetre smaller than the card base on each side. Usually in the US you go 1/4 of an inch smaller on each side. So once again, following the same basic idea. And I'm going to start, I have here some Bumblebee ink, which is exactly the same colour ink as I have paper. And I'm just going to open this up. And I'm going to grab a piece of, just a piece of white, Whisper White cardstock. Now I am using Whisper White normal. This is not the thicker Whisper White. It's a very thin piece of paper, but it's still strong enough to handle the technique. If you're using the thick, which is what I've used for my card base, it's actually quite a lot thicker, and you will find that it doesn't sponge as well, because this is a sponging technique. So I'm just going to open my ink pad up properly. I've got a sponge here. I get the big sponges and cut them up into little pieces so I can use lots and lots of different colours from just one sponge. And I'm actually going to decide where I want my circle here to be. So I'm just going to grab a pen or a pencil, it doesn't matter because you're going to cover it up anyway, and decide where do I want the center. Now I've already cut previously. This is a stitched shape from our stitch shape dies, and it's the second largest circle in the set, and it's going to go right around here somewhere, sort of up in that top left hand corner, but you can choose where you want it to go, which means that this here right about there is the center. So I'm going to put a little dot right there, and like I said, it doesn't matter if it's in pen or pencil because you're going to cover it up at the end anyway. And then I'm going to get my panel of paper here. Just a word of advice, I would recommend that you use cardstock for this. If you use copy paper, it gives you it's nice and thin and gives you a good effect, but it's a little flimsy, which means it can easily flick up and make it difficult to sponge over the edge of. So I'm going to start, it doesn't matter whereabouts you start, but I'm going to start making sure that my piece of paper goes through the dot. Wherever you start doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to get my Bumblebee ink. I'm going to dip my sponge into the ink, and staying on one side of the dot, I am just going to sponge over that edge. Very, very simple. Just go in one direction. You'll find that works best. And then when you take it away, you can see we've got this line here. Doesn't look like a lot's happening yet, but as you start to build this up, it's really effective. So I'm now going to go over the edge again, and I'm going to continue doing this, always keeping, it doesn't matter if they're not perfectly equidistant, but I'm always making sure I go through that dot and stay on one side of the dot. The other thing that's important to do is you make sure you always go the same way. So you don't start here and then go back the other way and go on the other side. We want all of our rays to be on the same side of the paper. So I'm continuing just to go, and I'm holding it so it just stays on one side of that dot, through the dot. And I want it to go, or I've actually, see how that would actually not work because I haven't gone all the way to the end. So I'm just going to move it down a little bit further. And I'll put that back. Once you start, it's really easy to put it back where you did it, because the sponging always sort of indicates where you need to position your paper. If it moves, that's okay, just reposition it back. back in the same place. And if you need more ink at any time, just go back and get more ink. If you get some little stripy bits like this here, don't worry, you can either go over them and blend them in, or just don't worry about them. Okay. Now as I continue, you might want to move your paper around. So long as it goes off the edge of the paper at the other end, it doesn't matter. Now I also did this on a scrapbook page as a background as well, for a page where I had a picture of myself and my kids, and I was saying the words I was using was "You are my sunshine," so this was like the perfect technique for that. In fact, I'll grab it in a moment and show you when I've finished doing this. Continuing all the way around. We're nearly there. And of course, these side bits become easier because you're not having to do the full length as we work our way around. Now these bits at the top don't matter as much because our circle's going to cover most of it, but I just wanted to have them showing at the sides. So I'm just going to kind of go over the edge there. Can you see I'm not worrying about going all the way along? Still going the same direction. So if you start out, I've gone clockwise today. If you start doing anti-clockwise, continue all the way around anti-clockwise. If you start clockwise, continue clockwise. All right. And you're kind of getting a feel now for how this looks. Like I said, doesn't matter if the measurements aren't perfect, because I've got some extra lines in here. I'm just going to go over this again. And a way to do that is to actually kind of blend it in the other direction. So if my lines are going this way, then I want to blend this way. But it doesn't matter too much. If you have any that you want to strengthen up, if they're not dark enough, you can go back in. Anyway, you get the idea. All right, so that's how this looks. And when our circle goes over the top, you can see how it's going to look on the page. It's really effective. It's a really nice technique. So what I'll do now is I'm going to stamp on my circle. You could use whatever words, or depending on the size of the piece you're using. On this card here, I did use the "You Are My Sunshine." Obviously, this is an oval here from the Ridiculously Awesome stamp set, and I think that worked out really well. Looks really nice. But today I wanted something that's going to fit on my circle, so I went with this month's Paper Pumpkin set, the Sending Sunshine set, which has got all these great cards in it, and it has got this great little stamp set, and there's these words say Sending Sunshine, and I thought that would be perfect for my, I'm going to get these out because I might use those. They're really cute. All right, so I've already put these on a block. I'm going to use the same Bumblebee ink for the Sunshine stamp. So this is just a stamp that says Sunshine, which I thought worked really well. So let's put that into the circle. The good thing about these photopolymer stamps, of course, is you can see where you're going, which makes it really cool. I'm just going to use, I'm using early espresso brown, but you could use black or whatever color you like for this. I just wanted them to be two different colors. So that says Sending Sunshine, and it's going to end up right here. So you can see this is a pretty simple card. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to create this starburst look, and I borrowed a die, I repurposed a die. I'm actually using the Christmas tree from the Home Together dies. Now the Home Together dies are part of the Trimming the Town suite. So these are the Home Together dies. Let me show them to you. Really, really nice. You can use them, of course, to cut all these great little houses, make little scenes. Really, really cute set. And there's a little Christmas tree, which you could use in this way if you were doing it with a smaller circle. But I wanted the larger Christmas tree, this one here, which belongs here. I wanted him to make the slightly larger sun rays for my larger circle. So I've repurposed him. He's not a Christmas tree today. And I've already gone ahead and cut these out just in the interest of time. I used 8 and I made them gold. Of course, you could use whatever color you would like. but I've used 8 of them. And it's up to you whether you want to put this down with maybe dimensionals and raise it up a little bit, and then cut these off and slide them in underneath, which is what I did with this one. But just for today, I'm actually going to pop them on here. And I just wanted to have, because they go in here with the tree, I sort of just position them so that little bit is just hiding. Okay, so probably you could go ahead and stick these in any way you like, but for today I'm just going to use glue dots, and I'm going to put it on the gold side of my Christmas tree dies. And I've put my glue dot just down here so that when I position this on here, that glue dot is just hidden. Can you see that there? So we're going to do that for all of them. I'll speed the camera up and I'll quickly whip around and get all these dies on. Okay, so I'm just going to put the last glue dot on here, and I just wanted to show you probably saw as we were doing that quickly, you could either just space them out evenly all the way around, but I think because I've got 8, the easiest way to do it is to go like north, south, east and west, one at one at the top and the bottom, and then 2 on each side, and then put the others immediately in between those. And that's probably the easiest way to space them out. And doesn't it look cute? Look at my little sun. I think that's awesome. All right, now you can see what the back looks like. See, you've got all the bottoms of the Christmas trees. They're kind of cute, aren't they? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some dimensionals, which are going to not only hold my trees down a little bit, but I'm also going to raise up my circle. So I'm going to take the backs off those. I might just throw one more in the middle. Take the backs off. And position that sticky circle here in the corner. Now, totally up to you. I think I don't mind having these little guys run off the edge, but if you don't like that, you could trim them off. Okay, so any that are overhanging, just cut them off there, and they'll look fine as well. But I kept mine as they were on here. If you wanted to put them in an envelope, you're probably better to trim them down a little bit, or maybe position your circle a little bit further away from the corner. That would be another option. As a final sort of finishing thing here, or a couple of things to finish it off, I've got some of this gorgeous Bumblebee gingham ribbon, which I just love. So nice. I love that everything goes together, don't you? I mean, that's the best thing about all these products, that everything matches, and it's so easy to coordinate all your bits and pieces. I mean, all you have to think about is the design and putting it all together, and then they'll come up with all the matchy stuff, which is awesome. Makes life a lot easier. Something I used to hate when I was a scrapbooker was having to, I mean, I still scrapbook, obviously, but I hated having to try and find things to match colour-wise, and I love that Stampin' Up does that for us, so it's awesome. So I'm glue dotting my little Bumblebee gingham ribbon onto that. And I think that looks really cute. And just to finish this off, I'm going to use some of these sequins from this Sending Sunshine box. Little paper pumpkin kit. So if you have a paper pumpkin kit, this is available in Australia right now until sold out. But if you don't have, this was available in the US, I believe, and other North American markets, I believe, back in June or something like that, so a while ago, so you may still find them floating around somewhere. But how cute is that? Those little sequins really finish that off. I'm just going to use some Tombow to attach this to my card base. Come on. Should have it sitting upside down. You know how it is when your glue has run down to the bottom of the container? Sometimes it's good to have them sitting upside down so it's ready to go. Alright, let's pop this on here. And we're going to call this a finished card. Isn't that cool? I hope that's given you some ideas. I just love this technique. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly grab that scrapbook page to show you. So here it is. So this is the one of me and my kids. We were down at the farmers markets that day, and I used this little starburst right here on my page with some other stamps and some pretty dies and things, and said, "You are my sunshine." And I think it turned out really nice. So there we are. So here we go. We have a beautiful card, or actually a couple of cards now, that are great if you want to brighten someone's day. You can use either the Sending Sunshine stamps for this, or you could go with, like I said before, the You Are My Sunshine, which I've used there with an oval. That looks great as well. Same technique. I just used the star rays on here, sun rays on here as well. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks guys. Bye.